The new AI formula in Google Sheets means that you can prompt Gemini in any cell of a spreadsheet, connect with other cells inside the spreadsheet, and get it to summarize, expand, or even write new content based on what's there. Let me show you how it works. I've got a sheet here of some event feedback. You can see there are a few columns, one asking for an overall rating, one asking something they loved, one something they improved, and another just asking for anything else they'd like to add. And if I scroll down, I've got about 20 rows here, but if you imagine you had an event with hundreds of attendees, you would have hundreds of rows of information to look at and then use to figure out how you improve your next event. What I'm going to do is add a column on the right of this table, and I'm going to give it the header sentiment. In the cell here on the first row, I'm going to type equals AI, and I'm going to write my instruction, my prompt for AI in speech marks. I'm going to say, analyze the sentiment of this feedback and categorize it as positive, negative, or neutral, and close the speech marks. And then I'm going to do a comma, and I can choose the range. So I can select one or more cells for Gemini to look at and analyze with this prompt. So I'm going to choose all three because I want it to look at the whole context of all of their feedback for that individual person and then give me the sentiment. Hit enter. Now with AI formulas, it doesn't work right away. It leaves it as a placeholder here, and then in a second, I'll show you how to run it. What I'm going to do though is just double click on the handle here to fill that AI formula all the way down this column. And now I'm going to click and drag to highlight all of these to make sure I do these all at the same time. And you see I have this little Gemini icon here. If I mouse over, I get the option to generate and insert. And Gemini is going to get to work looking at all of the feedback from these different attendees and analyzing the sentiment. Here we go. This one's positive. We've got one that says mixed. One here is negative. This was someone that said they're quite disappointed, and so on. Just imagine how long that would have taken you to read all of those yourself and then make that decision. Now, obviously you can go back in and read them, but you've got an initial view of what that might look like. Let's quickly look at some of the other examples that Google Sheets has given us here. You could do expense classification, where it looks at the information in a row of an expense sheet that an employee has put in and then classifies which category that expense falls under. Or you could use it to write ads for different products that you have in your store. You could even get it to do one more formal ad in one column and a more informal ad in another. Or maybe you have a ticketing system where customers submit tickets via a form and they end up in a spreadsheet. Now you can have Gemini in the spreadsheet draft a response that you can use to send to the customer. Or how about taking notes from sales calls and then summarizing your notes so that you can quickly, at a glance, remember where you left off with that last customer. Now, this is super powerful. Don't forget, if you want one weekly, immediately actionable tip for a tool in Google Workspace in your inbox every Wednesday, subscribe for free to my Workspace Boost newsletter. The link is in the description.